The very start of the episode, a mess. Casey fainting, a mess. Somebody said on the Bachelor podcast that Casey is way too old to be on the beach. He is. He is. He had some good commentary, but it was just like, Casey, what are you doing here for real? Like, for real. Nick Viall from a couple seasons ago said that the Bachelor in Paradise used to be like really wholesome and cute about actual people actually pursuing their love stories, as they call it. But now he says, I'm just gonna give him credit where it's due. He said that Bachelor in Paradise is more of like influencer summer camp. A phenomenal description. If you had told me a while ago that Shanae was gonna be getting her redemption story, I would have been like, I'll skip this season because I don't want to see Shanae revived from this. Nobody wants to like her. But now you kind of do start to like her because you see her more friendly side as opposed to her like conniving evil side. And the debate from the very beginning of the episode was like, who is Shanae gonna choose? Is she gonna choose, what's his name? Matt? Is his name Matt? His name is James. Oh my god. I keep thinking his name is Matt, which is crazy that Matt and James, like, the franchises like intercepted my brain cells. Matt. Oh my god, James. She was either gonna go for James or Logan. And personally, I think that like the thing about James was that she really liked like the attention that he gave her. As opposed to like Logan, she just really likes Logan's personality better. Also, justice for James. Like, for real. James has so much to offer, I feel like. But we just don't get to see it because he gets sent home so early on throughout the seasons. And I want to know what it is about him. He's really good looking. Like, he's a pretty attractive guy. But, like, we don't know him well enough. He's been on a lot of Bachelor. But we just don't, what the heck is it about him that, like, women just don't want to keep him around? I want to know. We've had plenty of chances to know, but, like, what is it? For real. Also, Justin was such a disappointment this season. I feel like we all went in really liking him because we're like, oh my god, his face is, oh my god, he's like attractive-ish. Is he attractive though? Sometimes I look at him and sometimes I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I really don't know. Because there's something about his face that is slightly like, I don't know if it's like Logan. Like, sometimes you look at him and you're like, no, you're an attractive guy, right? You're an attractive guy. And then sometimes you're like, no, he's like, something about him is off. I mean, I feel that about a lot of Bachelor people. Like, there's something slightly off about them. but yeah, so justice for James. Logan, to me, Logan is just like an attractive, tall male. Like, that's really the most of what he has going for him. Like, we don't really know his personality. We haven't really got to know him or anything about his story. I couldn't tell you what the heck he does for a living. I couldn't tell you where the heck he's from. I don't know anything. So to me, I'm kind of like, what is it that Shanae sees about Logan other than the fact that like they had this one moment where he was like, I see you as much more than a villain. I want to get to know Shanae. Like, what is it? If I faint on national television, oh my god, and I land the way that Casey landed, and the drama is started because of me, and I have to physically deal with the consequences, kill me in my sleep, I'm pretty sure. Like, unalive me right then and there, because that's just so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Because we won't really hear from him until the reunion. Does Bachelor in Paradise have a reunion, though? You know? I don't know. Either way, that was embarrassing. Yikes for him. Seriously, that's he's not getting over that. America's not getting over that. That's embarrassing for him, for real. Okay, so the rose ceremony went exactly as expected. Everybody who you think is going to be together is together or whatever. The only big shock or the only big like was just who was Shanae going to choose. That was the only thing that was like kind of conflicting. But either way, it was normal, boring, whatever. And then the twist where the women get sent off to their own little private thing. Temptation Island ripoff like crazy. I wonder if you can sue between TV shows, because that is clearly like a Temptation Island thing where they take away people, put them on an actual other island, well, another side of where the region that they're at, and then just bring in other people. Like, did ABC have to clear that with other people or what? Because that to me was kind of just like, this is like really familiar, like suitably familiar. Like that's a lawsuit waiting to happen, I feel like, but we'll see how that goes. I really enjoy it though. Like I really think that it spices things up as opposed to just like one person being dropped in on a situation. It's like multiple people dropping in on multiple situations and multiple storylines happening. I do kind of feel bad for the girls who have to come in and like disrupt everything, because they kind of are coming in as like villains, you know? Like they are the ones who are disrupting the original couple pairings, but it's not like the original couple pairings are like what's meant to be, except for Brandon and Serene. That's a non-negotiable. That is meant to be. That's meant to be. That's like God gave us them as a couple. But other than that, like I feel I'm annoyed that people are like, oh, but what about Jill? But what about Jill and Jacob? Because like Jill and Jacob just stop forcing monogamy on Jacob. Like Jacob is not here to be a boyfriend and to end up as a husband for another couple years, I'm guessing. So the whole like, I don't know, it's just weird to me that like these people who are coming and infiltrating the couples, they have to convince themselves that they're like being selfish for a good reason, because we all know some of them are going to get hate simply for just showing up late in the game, because that's always how it goes. Is like the temptresses are going to be the ones that are villainized, as opposed to like the people in the original couples are the ones that are like damsels in distress and like people who are pitied. Okay, all my thoughts on the original couples. So we have Lace and Rodney, which is a mistake that should have never happened. That should have never happened. They're so ugly. They're actually really ugly. Like, ugly in the way that I just feel like Lace, to me, is just, she just irritates me a lot. Because, I mean, I don't want to shame her for her age at all. Like, I am not that type of a person. I just feel like her character is just very much like, we like her because we've seen her history and she brings the drama, but we're not rooting for her relationship because we like want to see her in one. We want to see her because of the drama and the things she'll bring to the show, not because we're like rooting for her success. And those are the type of people that I'm just like, I don't want you here. Like, I don't want you here. She just bothers me. As opposed to Rodney, like I want to see him develop and I want to see him be successful, obviously with the new person that he's with, but like Lace to me just kind of like around to be around to add to the show because they asked. So I don't like that original pairing. I'm gonna list off more of the like original pairings. Brandon and Serene, my god, king and queen, for real. Brandon is such a king. If they could have made Brandon the Bachelor, I think we would have all been a little bit happy, but I don't think that people would be like that excited, you know? Like, I haven't been excited about a Bachelor since like, I literally have never been excited about a Bachelor. Okay, so Lace and Rodney, Brandon and Serene. Brandon and Serene are so wholesome, so cute. They, to me, are just like the most, I really can root for them. And it's also funny because like, I feel like Serene kind of looks like a knockoff Michelle, which is not like shade to any of them. It's just kind of like funny because now Brandon is dating this person who's like a little bit more well suited for him, I feel like, and yet looks like a version of her. Like, it's kind of funny to me. Who else is okay? We have the shocking Aaron and Genevieve. Shocking that Aaron is being like a loyal boyfriend, like that he's not like flying off the walls, like being a hoe with everybody, because I feel like he could be. Like, he really could be, because I think that Aaron's really attractive. I do. Like, I think he's, like, a really annoying, kind of like a gym bro, kind of a douchebag type of a person. But I feel like he would do well in Paradise because I feel like a lot of girls would be physically attracted to him. Especially because he's really funny as well. So I didn't think that he would be a one-woman man. But here we are. Here I stand corrected. So I'm actually rooting for them, because I think that in the real world, I just think that they would work well in a weird way. I think there's something about them that like, they just seem like two gossipy, like young souled people. They seem like they do really well in high school, but they would have like a really toxic on and off situation. But it works really well for TV because like The Bachelor really is high school on it, like completely. Like the dynamics are very much high school, so they're thriving here. But I didn't expect it to work as well as it is. But it'd probably be like ran over by a train like in a bit. We'll see though. I don't know. Brandon and Andrew. I just got two boring names mixed up. Andrew and Brittany. Kind of bothered by it, honestly, because I like Andrew and I like Brittany. I just don't like them together. They just seem like best friends. Like, they have that, like, the type of tension where it's like, oh, these people are best friends, but they're clearly not meant to be. Because Brittany just seems like, I'm just gonna say, like, Brittany is just a little bit out of his league in the way that Andrew is, like, attractive and cute on his own, but he's just a little bit too nerdy. I don't know, there's something about him that's a little bit like we saw him with Teddy, like, he just felt like he was out of his league, and ever since he showed his cards, and ever since we saw, like, oh, this man, like, truly thinks that he's, like, not. he can't, like, it's like the freshman dating a senior type vibe. And that's how I see Andrew in a lot of his relationships. So, like, him with Brittany, I was kind of like, I don't know about this one. And then Brittany, I feel like Brittany isn't that excited about Andrew. Andrew's just there. Like, Andrew really is just there, and, like, she might be a little bit attracted to him, and it's just coasting for her to, like, just stay and get the rose from somebody else. And I do see that spark with, what's his name? Tyler? Who's such a baby. I know I have a baby face. I look really young. But when it comes to other people, I think the reason that I don't like it is just because, like, I'm self-identifying as, like, oh, you have a baby face, I have a baby face. We're not, like, desirable like that. So we need to, like, stay in our lane. But I like that Brittany's all excited about him, as opposed to, like, she's not excited about Andrew. Andrew's just there. So there's the whole Michael A. and Danielle thing, which I really like, but I was listening to Nick Viall's podcast, and he was talking about how, like, he essentially said that, like, production is forcing them to trauma bond because they both have experienced death, and they're just throwing it in our face, and they really are. But at the same time, I am excited to see them, because I really didn't like him and Sierra together. Not because I don't like him or Sierra, I like them separately, which is a whole other thing. Is like, when you come to Paradise and you're somebody on The Bachelor, like, it is probably so tempting to go for people who you saw on TV and liked on their season, and to, like, kind of be a little bit starstruck that you can get to know somebody and, like, develop a crush and, like, work your way into a relationship with them. And that's how I feel like Sierra was. Because, like, even just seeing them interact, it just felt kind of like that dynamic of, like, a freshman dating a senior. Like, seeing her and Michael A, like, interact was so weird, because she was, like, talking about things related to his son that just felt so far ahead. And whenever I saw her saying, like, yeah, like, even if I see, what's her son's name? What's his son's name? I don't know his son's name. Like, I should know it, because I can't remember his son's name. I thought I had it. But even her talking about, like, his son, and, like, how she'll help his son, like, get through bullying in the future, or how she'll be a great stepmom. It's like, that, come on. Like, it had been a couple days when she had said that, and I was like, this is a man with so much trauma and so much to work through as a father, that you talking about taking the place of his dead wife, that to me just felt, like, really immature. And also the response of her being, like, seeing Michael A. and what's her name? Danielle together. Her being like, I feel so disrespected because he was moving on. Why am I stuttering like this so much? Like, I don't know how to speak English properly. It just felt a little bit immature, and it felt kind of like, I understand where she's coming from, but I also feel like, to the viewer, it was just very obvious that he wasn't as into her as she was into him, which is really hard to process, which is probably why she felt disrespected. But it's just kind of like, that's just the way that the chips fall. I know I can't critique anybody for the way that they're going to react to that, but I just kind of felt like, how did you not see that you guys were just not going to make it? Because it just felt like she was so eager to, like, get to know him and, like, meet him and be with him. But he was just kind of like, come on. I'm 38. Like, I'm 38. I have trauma and a dead wife and a son. Like, you cannot be making up these little hypotheticals for your own, like, enjoyment and your own thought. Like, I don't know, something about her and that him just kind of irks me, but she's so beautiful. She is one of the most beautiful women to exist on this show, like top 5, 100%. And I feel like that's kind of saying a lot because The Bachelor really is known for just having beautiful people, but she to me is like flawless beauty because like no matter what she does, she just comes out and she's like glowing and her hair is done really well and just a beautiful human. But I was bothered by her reaction of being like, I feel disrespected highly in a tweet. I don't know. Okay, there's also Johnny and Victoria, which is such a funny dynamic because they just feel like very beautiful people who like each other's vibe, but not necessarily like would work together, but they're just aesthetically pleasing people to look at. And that's what I feel the extent of their connection is. It's just very physically beautiful, but not serious, never serious. And that's just kind of all I have to say about them. Like, Victoria's such a beautiful human being. Oh my god. When she was like, we looked like wet dogs. Like, I should have worn makeup because Johnny asked me why I looked different. She didn't even look that different. Like, there are so many people that look so dramatically different without makeup. Victoria, without makeup, looked flawless. Like, it was almost enraging that she would be like, we look like wet dogs. When, like, Victoria looks flawless, like, no matter what. Like, oh my god. Them as a couple, I'm not rooting for them. They're just kind of there for me. I wish they would like be a little bit more dramatic and spicy because I feel like we know Victoria as a spicy, dramatic person who's also conveniently the most beautiful. Anyways. Okay, so right now with the dynamic, I really don't like how overly emotional the women are getting because it just gets to a point where you see it on the TV and you're just like, oh my god, they're so annoying. Like, who else is just completely just the most annoyed? I just want them to stop crying so badly. Like, you know when like a baby's crying and you've done everything and you're just at the point where you're like, oh my god, please, like, stop, for real. I'm at that point with production because I'm like, please, you guys, just like, stop showing us. Like, we get it, they're sad. I would be the same exact way if I were in their position. But like, as an audience member, it just feels kind of like, so like, I'm not in The Bachelor to like watch 2 minutes of like uncut crying. Like, I just want to watch like a single second of crying and then we can move on to like some spicy drama or like some like wacky conversations or Sinead getting Sinead getting blocked, because I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to edit this. Sinead getting blocked from Tyler, which is such a weird dynamic. It's such a weird dynamic. It's like that, like, her to me kind of feels like that mean girl who would like vape in the bathroom, like on like during class, versus like the boy who would like never skip school and like was homecoming king, who's like not a douchebag, you know? Like, that dynamic just feels so off and so weird to me. Tyler and Shanae, it almost feels as off as Rodney and Lace, but the Rodney and Lace thing is more so weird because like Lace to me just has a icky feel, like an icky aura, but I don't know. Speaking of icky aura, Pizza Peter, oh my god. Why are they putting us through him again? That whole dynamic, I don't even want to speak on it. I just kind of feel like it can be summed up by saying that like Peter is ugly on the inside and outside. I mean, physically you can like look at him and appreciate some of his features, but overall when he just says like things like she's a clout chaser, that's why things didn't work out, and like putting words in her mouth about why things didn't work out when really like she just wasn't interested in you, to me it's just ugly. I don't know how else to describe it. Nick Viall was trying to excuse it as like, oh yeah, I feel like Peter just kind of has had a lot of bad role models in his life that he's taken note from, and that's why he's like this. I hate when like people try to excuse other people's bad behavior and can't just be like, let's critique what he said just word for word, because that's what it is. And I feel like the things that he was saying about her were just so unfair and so gross and inexcusable, and it's just ugly. He's just ugly, and that's what it is. I don't even like to even think about or talk about the date because that was gross that he was just speaking over her, talking about himself too much. We've all been in that position with that one person who just can't stop talking about themselves, and you don't even know how to be in direct with them or to like say like, hey, could you stop talking about yourself? Because it's like uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable and it's ugly. It's just ugly. He's ugly. He's ugly. And that's all I have to say about Peter. I think that's really all of the thoughts that I have. So that was me rambling about The Bachelor I was gonna say The Bachelor 2022, but it's Bachelor in Paradise Week 4, Part 1 and 2.